empty nesters, you future home sellers, remember this when you're selling your home. The agent who comes into your house, who compliments your house the most, is going to cost you the most money. Because 87% of real estate agents will tell you exactly what you want to hear. I think it's like 95%. Just to get your listing. They'll overprice your house, avoid telling you about needed repairs or staging, make you feel like your house is absolutely perfect. Just so they can stick a sign on your lawn and post it in social media, and later on put a price reduced sign. But here's what really costs you. The average overpriced home sits on the market for 94 days, goes through 3 price reductions, and sells for $47,000 less than it would have if it was just priced correctly from day one. That's not including the 3 extra months of, or maybe more, of mortgage payments, utilities, insurance, and the absolute mental torture of wondering why nobody wants your house. I'm talking about real money here, money that could be the difference between buying your dream home or selling for something less, or money for your kids' college or maybe your retirement. So today, I thought it would be a great idea to break down exactly why the mean agent, someone who's mean, you think they're mean, I call them the real deal agent, the one who tells you your house is worth less than you think, who makes you fix things before listing your home, who challenges every assumption you have, is actually the only agent you should hire if you want to maximize your profit and your sanity. And stick around to the end. I'm going to give you these 5 killer questions that immediately tell you if you're talking to a yes man agent who'll waste your time, or a tough love strategist like a real deal agent who'll make you wealthy. Let's get to it. Let's talk about the hard truth. Let's talk about the whole yes man mentality, yes man agent mentality, because it's an epidemic in our industry. It's costing sellers a fortune. It has for years and years. So kind of what happens is you interview 3 or 4 agents about selling your house. Now I suggest doing the phone interviews because of this. Let's say they walk in your house, agent 1 says, I think we can get 520. First look at it. I mean, I never give a price out when I first walk into a house. It's ridiculous. It's impossible to know. Agent 2 says, I'm thinking 515 to 525. And then agent 3 comes in, this is beautiful. I think we should list it at 575. Who do you think that most home sellers hire, especially empty nesters? They get preyed on all the time. Agent number 3, because they just told you your home is worth 50 grand more. They made you feel amazing. And that right there is a misconception that kills deals, because the agent who told you what you wanted to hear, not what you needed to hear, failed you. They inflated your expectations to get your business, and now you're going to pay the price for it. I get it. Nobody wants to hear that their home isn't worth as much as they thought, because it's an initial emotional reaction that happens. It's going to be defensive, maybe even anger. I've sat across sellers that literally got upset with me for giving them honest market data. But here's what you need to understand, guys. The initial discomfort, that sting of reality, that's actually protecting your wealth. That tough feedback is what's going to save you months of stress and tens of thousands of dollars. And a real deal agent, someone like myself, isn't afraid to challenge your assumptions. They're hard to find. That's why I go out and find them for you guys. My YouTube people are asking me every day, give me an agent in my area. And I try to help you out. Real deal agents aren't worried about hurting your feelings in the short term, because they're focused on your long-term benefit. They want you to be so outrageously happy with all the advice and help that they give you that they would gladly introduce at least, say, 2 people, even before the transaction is over. Imagine that. Imagine how happy you have to be to do that. Think about it. Would you rather have an agent who makes you feel good for a day than fails you for months, or an agent who gives you a quick reality check up front and then gets your house sold in 2 weeks? The sellers who embrace the tough love, who listen to the honest feedback, even when it's uncomfortable, they always end up happier and wealthier at the end of the process. So what about this tough love agent, this real deal agent? What do? Well, they give you market realities and their brutal honesty. I think in 3 key areas: pricing, staging, and property flaws. And I mean brutal honesty. When it comes to, for example, pricing, they're going to show you the data, whether you like it or not. They're pulling up every comparable sale in your area. They're going to point out every single thing that makes your home worth less than the one that sold down the street. Their kitchen was renovated in 2022. Yours is original from 2008. That's a $30,000 difference in value. I call this the things that affect value. In the appendix of my Home Selling Sharks book, I have a list of all the things that can affect the value. It's a long list. And there's things that you should change, you have to change, and you could change, There's lots of different things. But the biggest disease in real estate, I call it a disease because it kills deals, is overpricing. How does it work? Well, you list your house for $550 when the market says it should be $515. You don't need room to negotiate in this market, in any market. It happened for 31 years in this business. And when you overprice it, your first week, you might get some showings, but buyers walk through and say, this is nice, but it's not worth $35,000 more than the other houses. It doesn't have the amenities. And weeks go by, no offers. Week 6, you drop to $535. You're still overpriced. Week 10, you drop it again into $520. By now, you've been on the market for 2.5 months, and buyers are wondering what's wrong with this house. And when they finally get an offer, it's for $495 because you've lost all your negotiating leverage. List your home lower than you think it can sell for to get more. Like at the price break. Like I listed a house for $499. I knew I was going to get a lot more. I got $540. I did that on purpose to get more people into the door. So don't lose money and listen to tough love on day one, because a mean real deal agent protects you from emotional decisions that cost money. They're like a financial bodyguard for your biggest asset, your home. And the biggest problem is what happens is that sellers emotionally price their home. But your real deal agent has no emotion. But sellers have their price attached to their mortgage payoffs, right? And they need a certain amount of money net in order to make to their next destination. I get it. And I've seen sellers who don't want to negotiate an offer because you were insulted. They reject it. But your tough love agent says to you, stop, hold on, let's look at this objectively. The buyer's strong. If you reject this, we might not get another one offer for weeks, and their home is going to be priced even less. Because as a seller, I've had this experience where they were convinced their home was $625. They went through every comp in the neighborhood, and that all pointed to $580. They listed it higher for 94 days, dropped the price 3 times, and ended up selling for $562. If they had just started at the right number, they probably would have had a bidding war and sold for closer to $580, $590 instead of losing money and wasting 3 months of stress and payments. That's kind of how it works. So what's the value of getting direct feedback? Well, I can give you some real life stories, case studies of homes that sold fast because the sellers listened to my tough love. Let's talk first. Let's call her Maria. She had a beautiful house, but was stuck in a time warp. She had wallpaper from the 80s, 90s on the ceiling, brass fixtures, hunter green carpet. She loved it. The buyers did not love it. I had to say to Maria, we need to neutralize this. It was on the market with somebody else for like 67 days. And I told her, I came in and I said, listen, remove the wallpaper, paint everything. My color at the time was Revere pewter. Replace the carpet. We took the carpet out when we had the hardwood floors underneath. It cost about $12,000. She wasn't really happy at the time, but she trusted the process. Her friend had introduced us together, and her house was, like I said, sitting on the market for around 67 days. So we went in there and did the updates. We relisted it, had 4 offers within 10 days, and we sold it for $18,000 more than her original asking price with the other realtor. That was a $12,000 investment turned into a $30,000 profit, all because she listened to feedback that initially felt like criticism. Think about it. Case study 2, couple had John and Jennifer. They thought their house was worth $450 because that's what Zillow said. I hate when that happens. But I showed them the comps, $415 to $425 max. They were devastated. But we listed it $419. In 5 days, 3 offers, we countered and ended up with $427. They got more than my top estimate because we created competition with strategic pricing. That's how you do it, guys. So how does this direct agent, this mean agent, real deal agent, what do they do for you? I think that they help you prevent these emotional pitfalls. I think that's what happens. A pitfall would be emotional attachment to upgrades that don't matter. I think a lot of people do that. They have these things that they did, these upgrades. Oh my God, I spent $8,000 on this custom paint. Buyers don't care. If it's not neutral, they're painting over it anyway. So don't do that, okay? Don't put all this weight on this $8,000 paint color or whatever you did. The second pitfall is believing your house is so special and deserves special pricing. Every seller thinks that. That's just where their house has the memories and things like that. Everybody thinks their house is worth more. But unique doesn't mean it's worth more. Sometimes unique means it's worth less. The next pitfall, I think, are getting offended by low offers instead of negotiating. Every time a low offer will come in, people will get offended. Now, a direct agent reframes this. This isn't personal, this is business. Let's get to it. And the next pitfall is refusing to do pre-listing repairs. Someone will love it as is. I'm just going to disclose it. Sure, but how long will you wait? How much will you lose, right? You don't want to do that because you really need to understand that critical feedback is a sign of the agent's commitment to results. It's not disrespect. When I talk to a client, I'm not disrespecting them. I'm giving them my commitment to results. And an agent who tells you what you want to hear is treating you like a child. An agent who gives you straight talk is treating you like an adult who can handle the reality, okay? Very important. So what's the direct correlation between, say, honest feedback by a real deal agent and a faster, more profitable sale? Well, there's data on this, believe it or not. I've sold many homes to tell you that, but the NAR, National Association of Realtors, tracks the days on the market versus the sale price, and homes that sell in the first 30 days sell for an average of 99% of asking. Homes that take longer, like 31 to 60 days, 97% of asking. Homes that take, say, 61 to 90 days, it's down to about 93 minus even more percent of asking. So if you put two scenarios together, where a tough love agent says price your home right at $499, an agent's going to tell you what to hear. They're say, oh, price it at $540 when the house really would sell for $500 or $515. It's always good to come in under that price break. There's $50,000 price breaks, $400, $450, $500, $550. Got to get under there so that people can actually see it, because buyers search up to $500, and those are the people who will stretch a little bit higher over $500 to see your house, and those are the ones who are actually going to take care of your house and love your house and give you a good price for your house. They're serious. So the cost of a yes man or yes man agent could be $25,000, $50,000, puts months of stress on you. And I think the biggest thing I think about this is that a swift sale can save you from market risk. Because every month that your home sits, you're exposed to factors outside your control. What if interest rates go up? What if inventory increases? What if there's a negative economic news? The longer you're in the market, the more vulnerable you are. And a quick sale eliminates that risk. I cannot tell you how many times I've had sellers come back years later and say, I didn't love everything you told me at first, but looking back, I'm so glad I worked with you. Matter of fact, people come to my client parties every year, and these sellers, they talk to each other and say, what did she make you do? What did she make you do? What kind of price did you get? So they all talk about me. It's pretty funny. But there is something to be said for efficiency, I think, and effectiveness. You got the peace of mind. You don't want to spend 6 months of your life consumed by trying to sell your house, people walking in and out. You want to list it, sell it, and just move on. When you're ready to do that, then sell your house. If you're not ready to price it right, just don't put your house on the market yet. But there's some other critical things here you have to deal with. Pricing is one thing, but there's also staging and there's negotiating. So for example, staging. You can't just put your house on the market. Your house isn't ready to sell because you've lived in it and kept it clean. Buyers make a decision the first 8 to 10 seconds of looking at on you online and walking through the door. The Staging Association says that a tough love agent tells you to do personalized, take down 200 family photos, paint over that custom maroon color, remove half of your furniture, make it hotel clean for every single showing. And it sounds exhausting, but would you rather spend 2 weeks deep cleaning and staging, have your house sit for 4 months and lose $40,000, $30,000, whatever it is? Staging is key. So if your home is staged properly, you can price it based upon how it's staged. You just don't price your home without knowing what you're going to do or not. That's why you can never price your home until you get all the costs involved in all the staging repairs, and then come up and make sure there's a good return of investment for every single repair. That's how it works. Pricing comes last. How in the world can an agent just walk through your door 1 second and say your home is worth this much money? Just run from that kind of agent. You want someone to sit down and understand all the things that you're going to do first to the house and make it look more marketable. And then negotiating. What really kills me is sellers get an offer that's lower than asking and they get offended. How dare they? I'm not even countering. And then for 2 months, nobody. And then you're dropping your price anyway. Like I said earlier, a tough love agent will say to you, take the emotion out, this is business. Maybe a buyer offered $20,000 less, but they're like, say, pre-approved, they're paying lots of cash down, they have no home to sell, they can close fast. Like I was saying earlier, it's like if a strong buyer is someone you want to negotiate with. On another note, I've seen sellers take sort of 2 offers, one lower, great buyer, strong, no much more contingencies. Another buyer, full price, will want $15,000 in closing costs, 2-3 months to sell, 8 inspection contingencies, and it's actually then a weaker offer than the lower price buyer with better terms. So just don't look at the price, guys. Look at all the terms, because the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, they have data. It shows homes with multiple price reductions end up selling for averages of 8 to 12% less than the original asking price. So don't be stubborn in this area, or it can cost you real money. So how do you find this mean agent, real deal agent? And I can pretty much help you find one. So talking about all this makes me realize how important it is to work with the right agent. Like I said, The bad agent can cost you tens of thousands. A mediocre one might get you the job done, but leave money on the table. But a great agent tells you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. That's the difference between a sale that's just fine and one that sets you up financially for your next chapter. How do you find these tough love people? How do you find someone who's going to protect your wealth and isn't afraid to be honest? So here are the questions I said I would give you at the beginning of the video, what to ask prospective agents. Ask them, what do you think my house is really worth? And can you show me the data? If they just throw out a high number to make you happy, you can see that and just run. And if they try to price your home without knowing what they're going to do to it and what kind of staging is going to be done, don't sign any paper with that agent. Ask them, what would you change about my house before listing it? They say, oh, nothing, or just a few things. It's perfect. They're really not being honest. Even the best homes I've done things with. I find that homes that are nicely staged and really nice, they're overstaged a lot. I always do something to houses. Ask them, what's your average days on the market versus the area's average? It's a great question. If they can't even answer that or know their own numbers, or they know the number of theirs is way higher than the average, that's a little bit of a problem. And ask for data. Ask them to show you the data. Like, have them pull up the MLS in front of them right there and show them. Ask them, say, tell me about a time you had to give a seller bad news. How did they react? This shows whether they have a backbone to be honest when it counts. The next one would be, what would you do if I insisted on pricing $50,000 over market? If they say, okay, whatever you want, they're an order taker, not an advisor. Because there's red flags when you're interviewing agents. If they only praise you, if you're interviewing an agent, all they do is compliment your house and tell you it's worth more than everyone else says. That's a red flag, I'm sorry. They're not seeing your home objectively, they're just trying to get your listing. They want you to sign the listing contract so they can put their sign on the lawn and have an Instagram post. Not necessarily the best financial result for you. Watch out for them who agree with everything you say. Avoid tough questions about your motivation and timeline. I don't even want to talk about it. Never point out flaws or needed improvements. Suggest a price that's far above others with no data to back it. Or they skip detailed comparables. They don't show you, they just tell you. People that don't show you and they just tell, really watch out for that. Or they talk more about their marketing than their pricing strategy. The marketing would be maybe their company's marketing, but not their own marketing. And I really wanted to say, just embrace the discomfort, guys. My best advice is just do that. You're a mean real deal agent, the one who makes you slightly uncomfortable, like I said earlier, in the listing presentation, that's probably the one that's going to make you the most money. The agent who challenges your price to protecting your equity. The one that gives you a long list of the things to fix or low-cost fix-ups before listing, they're maximizing your return. It's a high, it's a competition for them to get you the best price. Of course, we all want to naturally work with the people who validate us and make us feel good, but in real estate, that feel-good comfort could cost you real money. And the best agents are one who care more about your results than your feelings in the moment. And if you want help finding this agent, go to realdealagent.com. Someone who's data-driven, brutally honest, deep professional. That's my agent referral program. I built this nationwide network of vetted agents. Just go to Real Deal Agent, and it doesn't cost you anything, realdealagent.com. Fill out the form, and we'll give you a call, and we'll talk to you on the phone and see if we can help you. Okay, wrapping this up, the big takeaway, selling your home isn't about finding the nicest agent, it's about finding the smartest one, someone who treats your sale like a major financial transaction as it is, a strategist who studies the data, understands the market, tells you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. That's what a tough love agent does. They help you make the hard choices that lead to faster sales, stronger offers, and a bigger bottom line. Because when you sell in 2 weeks instead of 4 months, and you walk away with top dollar instead of another price drop, that's when you realize the truth pays off. And if you want to see exactly how strategy translates into results, don't miss my next video, 12 home staging hacks to turn for sale into sold. It's packed with proven techniques that make your home irresistible to buyers and boost your final sale price. Click over there now and start turning your home into the one everyone's fighting to buy.